Hey y'all, welcome to Other Realm Studio. Sorry there was a bit of a delay, but my family's all squared away. They're doing good. And let me see. I was going to work on this guy's wings. That's where we were. And also, I was going to use the pen for that because using the oil paint smears it, and I really like where I have the shadow right now. So I have really great news today. I'm so excited because, I have this comic out. It's called Soulbound, and it's about a pragmatic med student named Becca who has enough of her own problems, and then she gets thrown into another world of magic, myth, mystery, and mayhem. And issue 1 is available now on my website, otherrealmstudio.com. If you want it in print. And if you'd rather read it on Kindle or get it faster than I can ship it out to you, if you're into instant gratification, you can look it up on Amazon.com. Look up Soulbound Adrift. So Soulbound is one word. So yeah, I was going to make up this pattern again, but I just like the one that I started off with so much. So I'm going to see if I can follow it and see how that looks. Yeah, here we are. We're getting somewhere. We're going to make it. We're going to win. Alright, so this right here, this is not about my comic. This is a art commission that I'm doing so that I can hire my artist, Mia, who is also on Twitch sometimes. Let me see. Back out of that one. So the more money I can earn on my own projects, the more I'm able to do things like pay another artist who's, more experienced with the sequential art. And also, I really love her art style. It's so full of life, and it's like just cartoony enough. It kind of reminds me of Airbender: The Last Avatar. A bit more of that style, and that's what I want to do. I want to flesh out my world and develop it as much as that world was. In that series, although it's for a comic and not so much a TV series. Although that is one of the things that I would really love to do with it. Um, I need to finish. I need to finish up the comic, and then once I build up some momentum with the comic series, I would really just love to work on developing it as an animated series. And for that, I really need to learn to take advantage of the animation capabilities in Clip Studio Paint, which so far I'm really bad at it. I on one hand, it's not even funny how bad I am, and on the other, all you can do is laugh. So I'm trying to like back way down in my expectations for myself. Oh, come on. This looks so good. I like this. This is turning out like I expected it to in my head. Man, that never happens. Um, but yeah, back to animating. I would really love to create an animated series out of this epic story that is the Soulbound series. It's just, it's going to take a while, and I'm going to have to learn how to collaborate with people, like more people, because you can't. Well, I mean, I suppose you can do an animation with like one person, but it's going to be very small and short, and you're going to spend months and months on just getting the line work done. And I'd really love to streamline the whole process, really, of animating. I mean, I remember watching the Hanna-Barbera cartoons, and I swear, they use the same backgrounds. I mean, I already know that they all reuse the sound effects, but like the backgrounds were on like an endless loop. There were a lot of chase scenes. Um, so there'd be like a sitcom type set, and they just keep coming back to it. They didn't have to keep redrawing the backgrounds every time. They just apparently there was a library of backgrounds that they kept coming back to. I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna have to look it up. This blur effect for softening the edges of the shadow here is perfect. So I've got a little bit of an abstract element in this whole painting. Um, so what I'm going to have to do, though, is collapse some of my layers together soon so that I can shrink them down and put that room back in at the top. Um, yeah, because I've already got this canvas to these dimensions. I don't know, maybe let me look up what the dimensions are supposed to be for a cover again. I did know them, but it was a little while ago when I looked them up, and numbers don't stay in my head very well. So let's back up and take a look at it. Oh yes, there we are. So let me see. I could do more really tiny detail on the wings here, or I could work on making her face look better. I can improve her expression and skin tone. Like, I have done a really nice job on hands in the past. You can see that on my website, on my portfolio. But it's somewhat less obvious here because mostly her hands are mostly her hands are behind this box that she's holding. Okay, I do need to build up a little more contrast between her features because it's very subtle when zoomed out. It's kind of hard to tell. So I really need to shade this side more. So let me see. Try and develop a little bit more contrast. But yeah, I was telling you about my really good news about my comic. So if you would like to check out issue 1, this is a great time because issue 2 is officially in production. I got my first thumbnail sketches back from Mia today. Well, not today, but late last night, and I was so excited, and I could not go to sleep without seeing what she'd gotten ready, and I stayed up way too late, and I was a wreck today, and it was awesome though. And I mean it. This story, it's that all the action is just ramping up, and uh, yeah, issue 1. There's let me see. Does her nose really need to be this long here? Maybe I could just move it all up, shorten it a bit, and then I could make her mouth a little wider. I don't know. Let's give that a shot. Let's see what happens. When you paint, sometimes it's easy to make the features slide a bit. And before you know it, you've painted like really far down. So yeah, I think I might have gotten a little bit off on my proportions. Let's see, we'll select that, we'll scoot that over. This is just a little nightmarish here. Okay, check this out. So we'll select this, we'll widen her mouth without actually having to repaint so much of it. And let's see how that goes. Yeah, it's weird, but it works. We'll use the fingertip blur to repaint in the holes. Oh yes, this is a trick I've used before. I mean, it's kind of weird, but it works. Okay, so what I'm going to want to do here is get my paintbrush back. Put this back in the shade. Okay, so I think she looks a bit more like she seemed to me in the story. And at some point I've really got to do eyelashes, and that will help things a lot. Let's go. Blend. Okay. Let's see, I think I need to fix just a little bit. It's right here because the way it was standing out, the contrast was giving her a little bit of duck lip going on, and wrong mood for this piece. And let me remember to blink. Good evening, Heartless Spectre. How you doing? That's good. Let's see. So faces are really difficult. Or well, not difficult precisely because you're covering the entire board with paint somehow or another anyway. But every little... Oh goodness, mine too. I don't know, maybe it's allergies. Um, my brain just quit. Huh. Oh yeah, when you're working on faces, it's really tricky because every little thing that you do, every bit of shading, it changes the contour of the face and that changes the expression. So you've really got to watch out and make sure that your expression is staying on point every single time you make even a tiny adjustment. Yeah, I had a little bit of a delay before I could get started because I had to go take an ibuprofen. Uh, yeah, I guess there's something blooming out there that's really disagreeing with everybody's sinuses. I don't know. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to come back at the end and do the eyelashes, but for now, I guess you can just look like a, you know, 16th century English painting. But yeah, I like the proportions of her face a lot better now. Um, Let me zoom out and take a look at how she looks. Okay, that's a lot better. I added more shade to the side of her face, and it's really making her stand out a lot better now. Um, so yeah, I think I need to build up the contrast on the rest of her as well. Yeah, just a little bit more dramatic with the lighting or with the shading, and then I'll come back in and paint in lighting on a separate layer. So today I don't know if today was a good day or not. I mean, I guess it was. Didn't go badly, but I felt so wrecked this morning. Yeah, and that's really my own fault. I was just really excited to see my new sketches, um, the thumbnail sketches for the comic, and I I had like choices to make and stuff, and I was just really, really looking forward uh, to my part. After Mia does the line art, then I'm gonna do the colors, and I just really want to get started. I'm so excited. Uh, so this issue 2 of Soulbound is gonna be just really action packed. don't worry about it. You're going to know more than when you started, or know more than you did like this morning. Okay, so the idea is that, things stand out better when there's more contrast. And that's true. Yeah, you can just see that. That's not so hard. And so when you're painting or you're creating any kind of art, you want your main figures to stand out from the background. Again, pretty basic stuff. So you want to identify where your light source is. Like here the light source is going to be like here-ish, shining down in like a specific area. Oh well. You can still appreciate art though. There's whole college classes about it. Well, I appreciate you spending time with me. Anyway, that takes pressure off me because now my art doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. Okay. Yeah, speaking of not having to be absolutely perfect, I think I've got this shadow a bit too dark on this side. I'm going to blend that right back out. And just leave a little bit of a line. No pressure. Yeah, I usually have a lot of difficulty talking to people, and this is part of me getting over that. It's really good practice. Okay, so I need to do the shading on this arm too. I'm pretty happy with my start on the tank top. But the interesting thing about white cloth, or most white materials, is that they're hardly ever pure white when you look at them. They pick up color from everywhere. So you have to have your background colors already pretty well decided on. Also, it's on another layer, so I don't have to worry so much about accidentally drawing over it. Yep, autosave. There it goes. Yeah, and this crease right here in her elbow is going to need a lot more shadow. So I kind of won a month of free coaching, and it was really helpful. And today was the last day, and I'm just a little bit sad over that. But aside from official coaching, I'm still keeping in touch with the coach because I had this idea for a productivity app, and I just, I'm not very technologically proficient, so um, I just posted in the group that, this is my idea for an app, and I just, I'll probably never actually be able to get it made because I can't do it myself, and it's kind of a lot of work for a one off sort of thing. So, if I was going to learn how to make apps, I would have to be prepared to make that my career. It would take a while. And I've already got my big dream for the future. So, it might include eventually offering an app for something, but it's not going to include app development as a thing. So she posted back and told me to not call things impossible, and she knew a guy, or she knew somebody who knows a guy who might actually like to help develop it. For him, it's been his career for a long time, and now he's got a an easier job, and he might want to do something like that for fun. So I've been brainstorming my app idea. So originally I had some ideas for it written down or typed up in a file somewhere on my computer. And I went. So when she said she wanted to see what I had on it, I would go looking for that and couldn't find it. Couldn't find it anywhere. So I thought, well, I'll just type it up again. You know, I'm a fast typist. And, it was all fresh in my mind, and there was stuff I wanted to add anyway. And I was, I was really doing good, and I typed up a few pages. It took me a couple hours. I was really thinking through what I wanted to put, and I didn't save my document, and I just kind of left it open on the computer because I was going to get right back to it, and I did not get right back to it. And oops, that's not the one I wanted to get. Um, and then when I came back and I went to save it, it crashed. Everything crashed, and I lost everything that I'd written about the app. Uh, that was a punch in the gut. So it was like physically painful. It was bad. But then I started over and typed it up again and remembered to name my file and start off saving it every few seconds. So I've sent her what I have on it so far. Whoops. Okay. So I've sent her what I have on it so far, and she's gonna see if the person she knows can help make it a reality, which would be really awesome. So it's like an RPG productivity app. Well, I should have known better. And I did not. But I think uh, my second iteration of it, of retyping it all, um, I think it really worked out better, and I had it more organized in how, oops, a better way to put it together. Let's see, I'm not real happy about this, so maybe I can paint it back in. So yeah, that was my great tragedy yesterday, but it got made up for because then I got my sketches. So I've already sent back my feedback on the first 10 pages of Soulbound 2, and let me see. Yeah, this looks like plausible fabric now. Scoot that down and keep going. It still turned out okay though. There's always hope. But I couldn't get like right back to retyping the whole thing. I had to mourn first, but then I got it. Okay, so what I do, the reason why I'm Other Realm, is I called my business, which it's kind of hard. I'm not really sure it's a business yet. I guess it is though. I mean, I make stuff now, but I kind of took on the name of Other Realm Studio because I wanted to make things um, that are, otherworldly, that seem like they come from another world. Um, I'm all about escapism to a place you would actually want to go visit. I'm not very much into the apocalyptic sort of fiction or the dark fantasy or anything hopeless or nihilistic. I like stories that are um, you know set in these exotic, faraway locations. Stuff that happens that's out of the ordinary. A lot of science fiction, a lot of fantasy, a lot of portals to other realms. Yeah, one of my favorite authors is Andre Norton, and a lot of her work, especially in the Witch World series, is like a portal fantasy. Essentially, you fall through a portal to another world, and you either learn to make your way there or you figure out how to get back home. And it's a really appealing trope. Um, where I'm having that thing where a lot of different and sometimes contradictory things are piling in my head. I got to pick things to say. Um, Let me see. Also, I'm trying to decide what angle here. Ack. No. Well, thank you. I appreciate you coming by and saying so. Because a lot of the time it's really easy to fall into the feeling that nobody gets you or uh, nobody appreciates. And like most of the time, most of the time it's not so. I mean, I think that stories are part of what makes us all human. I think pretty much everybody likes stories and escapism and adventure and stuff that brings us out of our ordinary everyday world and puts us in a new perspective. And it's good to get outside yourself and read, like literally read someone else's thoughts. And, inhabit another person's mind, the space they were in when they were writing the story. And that was something that was really valuable to me as a kid. Where, sometimes it's difficult to know. Sometimes when you're a kid, it's very difficult to understand other people's point of view. And it really helps to read a book and get that fresh new perspective. That's why I think it's such a tragedy that a lot of the books, a lot of the fiction assigned in school is it's won awards, but it's miserable to get through. And see if nobody's gonna like the process of spending time in the author's head, which is essentially what you do when you read. If nobody's going to like going there, then what have you accomplished? You have turned them off of reading because they think all reading's now going to be a slog like that. So, Other Realm Studio is about stories in worlds that you actually want to go to. Okay, I'm going to turn this a bit. Okay, it was in view. It was, wasn't it? Okay. Okay, now that's an angle that I think I can work with. Well, I'm setting all my stories in a world where things that are lost from this world get a second chance or a second life to live. Um, and it has different eras, so I'm not limited to just one genre there. If I want to do steampunk, I can do steampunk. And if I want to do epic fantasy, like I'm currently doing with Soulbound, then that's what I can do. And if I want to do Arthurian legends, then I'll do that too. I'll just be an alternate reading of, you know, what would all these things that are lost from our world, how would things have turned out differently if they were located somewhere else? With some things that possibly never existed here. So that's the realm I want to write about. It's going to have this whole massive history. But to actually go, well, as a Christian, I do believe that there is another realm, and that I will go there one day. Once I'm done with this one. My English? Well, I did get a degree in it. But also, I've been reading since I was 2. And I'm kind of used to surprising people with my vocabulary. There's no reason to feel like that. Well, there you go. You seem pretty fluent to me. So you're fluent in more than I am. So what language is your first language? Like, in order to get my English degree, I had to study some foreign language. Oh, Polish. Let me think. Do I know? No, no, that's the other country. I don't think I know anyone from Poland. Um, but yeah, in order to get the English degree, I had to take like 4 years of a foreign language, and yeah, I didn't really have anything to go on except once I had studied over the summer with a church group, um, some conversational Spanish, and it was fun, and I immediately forgot everything. So I go to college, and they're like, well, if you're going to get a degree in English, then you need uh, some proficiency in another language. It helps to go with one that you've already started learning. So I got stuck with Spanish. And yes, I got my way through the class. I didn't do badly, but I still can't actually speak Spanish. I can sort of read it. And my accent's not terrible, but pulling the words together and meaning something, that's not easy. Well, it's not that likely that I would know somebody in person from Poland, but I don't even think I have anybody in my online friends. I was thinking of somebody, and I'm like, no, that's another country that begins with P. That's Portugal. That's somebody else. That's completely different. Yes, but your grammar structure is pretty good. You are not saying anything backwards. And the grammar is difficult. Everything I learned to say in Spanish, I would have to work out how it goes in English and then turn half the rules around. So yeah, you don't even need that much of a vocabulary if you've got your grammar down. That's the part. That's the rules of the language that makes you sound more intelligent. I think I would have noticed. Perhaps Polish is not terribly different in the grammar. I don't know. And maybe I'll put that one next on the Duolingo app. Right now I'm studying Latin because I've always wanted to learn Latin, not for any reason. Maybe now English seems easy to you. Or so are there less grammar rules to remember for English? Because really, I'm not familiar at all with Polish. Um, Now my languages professor, Dr. Korn, he was fluent in, oh gracious, he had like two or three that he was fluent in and proficient in a couple more. But I don't even think he had Polish on his resume. If I am pronouncing Polish correctly. You know, the first thing I do when I read it is I read Polish. So I need to fix it in my mind. Yeah. So we've got past, present, future, past perfect, and so on. Yeah, wait till you get into dialects. Let me see. I need to reset my view here. Yeah, so I know in Spanish and Italian and in most of the Romance languages, everything, like literally everything, has a gender, and you have to say the right one. There is no it. So your whole sentence gets structured according to the genders of everything that you're talking about. Yeah, see, that was one of the things that helped me going from Spanish to Latin, because Spanish is derived from Latin. It's another one of those. So, yeah, a couple times it nearly got me, but um, yeah, I remembered some of it. Let me save this. Oh goodness, it's getting late. Yeah, so it's German that doesn't have the the genders to everything, I think. So English is this blend of Romance and Germanic, and it's just also there's this habit of adopting everything that sounds cool or interesting. Let me see. Let's fit that to screen. Yeah. So usually I have to go put my daughter to bed because she's like hanging around. She just really wants to be tucked in, or else she's watching TV way too late, and then that kind of makes her difficult to deal with the next day. Like tired, but she won't admit it. But this time I put her to bed like right before I got started, so I have a little bit more time. Let's see. I think I could darken up this lower lip a little bit. I don't know. But yeah, so far I've got my textures coming out. I've got this guy in the background looming creepily. I need to get back in here and do my detail on the dragonfly wings. And I gotta do her hair. Oh, so there's whole other letters. Oh no. Okay, now two of the last two, they look like I've seen them in French, but I don't know how to say them. Yeah, I could never get the hang of doing the. Oh, now I forgot what it's called. Um, the tilde, tilde, something. Anyway, the little mark over the N in Spanish. I could never find that. I could never set my keyboard to do that. And so I was also using the school computers. So if I could do it one time, then I wouldn't remember how to do it the next time on a new computer, and I couldn't just leave it set up. So all my papers were printed out, and then I'd have to go over and put all the accent marks. uh, in ballpoint pen and hope I didn't get counted off for them. Okay, well, that's going to have to be it for tonight. But I'm making a lot of progress on this. Really happy that I got to spend some time with you, and also that I got to get so much done. And my client's going to be so excited to see this for her short story collection. Now, let me see. Alright, and if you have time, go stop by otherrealmstudio.com and check out my store with my whole 2 items in it. My comics, Soulbound #1, and I also have a hatchable numismatic dragon kit. No, I appreciate you spending time with me. And also, Soulbound is available for Kindle on Amazon, so you can get the electronic version with no shipping and instant gratification. And you can read the first chapter in Becca's epic adventure in another realm. Alright, so I need to remember to save all my stuff. See, that one's saved, that one's saved, this one needs saved. What was it? Oh yeah, so these are some of my sketches from issue 2. And yeah, it's gonna be such a great issue. This is gonna be so epic. But I had them open on here so that I could, try out rearranging some panels and stuff. And also zoom in on them. Thank you for coming by, and I'll see you in the other realm. Good night.